Okay, so this is Henry Parkin, New England football manager. He's going to try and talk about 4 factors which influence the group dynamics and performance in team sports. He's going to identify, explain and analyse task and social cohesion, Ringleman effect, social loafing and stages of group development. Okay, so Henry, give me the first factor that you want to talk about, first group dynamics factor.
Talk about the Ringleman effect.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the Ringleman effect is if someone's in a team, if they play on their own, then they'll give 100% because there's no one else to rely on. Whereas if the more people they add, the less effort they give. So for example, when there's 2 people who give 90, 2 people will give 80. For example, if somebody did like a tug of war or something, and there's just them on their own, they would give 100% because there's, like I said, there's nobody else there to rely on or help them. But then when more people when more people join their team, they'll rely on them more and expect them to do more work. A way of getting over this would be to praise the players that are doing well but aren't in the starlight, that aren't in the papers and stuff.
Yeah.
Because this would then make them want to keep playing because they get praised for what they're doing, even though they are as big as, say, like if Rooney was scoring and Gerrard was getting the assist, Rooney would be in the paper, but Gerrard's still playing well.
Yeah.
Because it'd be helping to get the goals. Because then hopefully they keep playing at the same ability and keep trying to get better.
Alright, so have you seen any of the Ringleman effect happening in the England team? So you've mentioned Gerrard there, is there anybody else or?
I reckon Cleverley could do a bit of the Ringleman effect. Because I wouldn't say he's as good as some of the other players, but he still is a good player, which is obviously why he's in the team. But he relies more on the other players to score goals and get the assists.
Right, good. So it's Andy Goodgen here, Sky Sports News. Okay, can you talk about the stages of group development then? Okay, does that affect the performance?
I think the stages do affect the performance because when they're in the forming stage and that's when they meet and start to get to know each other, and then so they become friends or not friends at this stage. And then when they get into storming stage, they fight for positions. So if you are fighting for position but somebody beats you to it, your performance obviously will drop because you won't get picked for the team. Or in the other way, it might excel and get better. For example, Nani and Valencia, who both England, Young and Oxlade-Chamberlain. Young's the better player, even though they're both good players. Young is a better player, so he'll get picked, so he'll exceed for England, whereas Oxlade-Chamberlain would come off the bench or something. The norming stage, this is when they get to know their place in the club and start gelling together, sort of. And then they go into performing, which is when they'll start either winning or losing, but hopefully winning. But for example, with the England team, they bring new players in, and they have to then start from the beginning when we bring a new player in. But somewhat like Germany, where they have a team that they don't bring that many young players in, have the same team for quite a long time. They're all in the performing stage, which is why they win.
So what stage are England at then at the moment? What do you think?
At the moment, I think they're at the norming stage because they also know each other, but then they still kind of fight for positions.
All right. So what can you do to get them to the performing stage then?
I can, for the norming bit, for the storming, I can take them out team building exercises to get them working together better and hopefully be friends, because then that might influence them on the pitch more.
Alright, so how can you get them from the norming stage into the performing stage then?
Well, I need to pick the right people for the positions, and make sure that I don't annoy any of the people in the like if they're on the bench, make sure I don't annoy them, and make sure they get enough game time to keep performing and try get better as a player.
Alright, okay. Can you talk to me a little bit about social loafing then? So you've identified the Ringelmann effect, and you said that's a bit of a problem in the team. So that links in with the social loafing. So talk to me about
that. Well, this is when the player plays the best ability when it's nice, warm, sunny day, but then when it's cold and raining, they won't, and they'll just not play as well. For example, I think Foster, when he plays for England, because when it's raining and cold, he doesn't have very good games, and he doesn't make very good saves. When it's nice and warm, he does well, and yeah. And I reckon to overcome this, you should be threaten the player and say, well, if they don't play well, then they won't play the next match, or if they don't make some good saves or something, for Ben Foster, they won't play and put somebody else in.
Alright, so what about if you had a go at Ben Foster and he decided to social loaf even more and think about, oh, Joe Hart's going to do it instead? What would you do then as a manager?
Well, then I'd then prefer to drop him from the team, because obviously doesn't want to play for his country because he's being stubborn about it. So then I'd give the opportunity to somebody else.
Alright.
Who wants to play.
Okay. And then finally, we talked about this cohesion element, alright? There's been a lot of talk in camp about the group not being that cohesive, and what you're going to do about that, and what is it?
Well, social cohesion is how well a team gets along on the pitch, and social cohesion is how well we get on off the pitch. And so say if they meet up for a drink or go for a meal or something. Whereas task cohesion is when it's on the pitch and there's a set goal for the team. So for example, like England set a goal to win the World Cup as a team, but then, I don't know, like I said earlier, Young and Oxlade-Chamberlain might not get along as well off the pitch. So for example, Andy Cole and Teddy Sheringham played really well on the pitch and got some of these goals with task cohesion goals, but off the pitch they didn't like each other, never met up, and didn't really speak off the pitch.
Yeah, go on.
To get over this, I'd say the team could send the players on team building exercises like before, so that they try and get along, which could influence them playing better together, because then it relieves tension on and off the pitch.
Okay, so how else can you help task cohesion then? So you've talked about task being setting goals. What could you do for the England team?
I think, well, now that we've just qualified to go to the World Cup,
Yeah.
but next, obviously, the goal to win it, but shorter term goal could be to get into round 16 or something, and just to try keep building it slowly up towards.
Okay. Do you want to expand on anything else, or are you happy about that?
No, I'm happy with that.
Alright, so out of those 4 factors that you've talked about, any of that are more important than others, or can you link some together? Or?
Well, yeah, social loafing and the Ringelmann, I think, link together, because that's to do with like them getting along and like how well they play together. I suppose it also then links to the stages, because so the forming and norming, they need to get along together before they start performing and playing well.
Okay.